Ernani Part 2. First, I'd like to make a little comment about why I look so dark and grainy. I've had the lighting in my room redone, and I had a choice. I could either look like a ghost or look like this, and so I've chosen this. So now you know why I look a little strange. Okay, so you all know that I go to the operas to hear great singing, and the Met put on what I'm sure they thought was a first-class cast. Before the opera went on the air, they were advertising that it was starring Dmitri Varosovsky, the great Verdi baritone. Well, sorry, but to me he's not a great Verdi baritone. He's got a small voice. I've heard him live several times. It is not what I would call a Verdi baritone sound. Let's talk about all the singers in general. So we'll start off with Marcello Giordani, there's a Giordani and a Giordano. He's the Giordani. And he's the one that I've heard live before and on several other HD feeds. I do not care for his voice, but that doesn't mean he's not a good singer. However, today he did not sing well, in my opinion. He's excellent at the high notes, and he has generally a very good stentorian sound. But his transitions from the high to the low were so off balance. And like he doesn't vibrate all the notes, and so things kind of sound in and out of tune. I didn't care for it at all. Then we have the other two men in the opera. We have Dmitri Varostovsky, who's playing Don Carlo. I believe it's the same Don Carlo that is in the other opera, but now he's sort of a different character. When he started out, I really didn't like his voice at all. He sounded very barky, and his voice just didn't sound good. Later he sounded much better. In fact, he did very well for his aria and got a nice rousing ovation. I thought he deserved it completely. Also singing was Ferruccio Furlanetto, another singer I've heard several times live at the Met. In general, I'm not a fan of those big, wobbly bass voices, and he kind of fits in that category. But I always kind of like him. I don't know why. Maybe he's a very good actor or just a terrific musician. I think he's very committed to what he does, and that can make up for a lot of things. Also, that's just kind of how bassos in general sound. But now we get to the real reason why I went to the opera, and that was to hear Miss Meade. I've been following her career since I first heard her on YouTube many, many years ago, and then a friend of mine heard her in a summer festival doing Norma, and she called me up the next day to say, "Rona, I heard this great singer. Her name is Angela Meade." And I kind of had heard of her, but I knew her name, I'd seen her around, and so I looked up Norma, Angela Meade, and Coloratura Fan had posted her portrayal or some of her music on YouTube. It was just terrific. And I thought, wow, we're going to have someone like this. This is going to be great. A couple of years ago, she came here to Pittsburgh, and she did the Verdi Requiem. She was wonderful. But it wasn't a part that could show off everything that she could do. So here she is, and she's going to sing Elvira in the opera Ernani. I know one whole piece in Ernani, and that's her big aria, Ernani in Volami. And I've heard a lot of sopranos sing it. None of them sing it well. It must be one of the most difficult arias to sing. I don't know personally because I've never even tried it. It wouldn't be anything that would be appropriate for me. But it has all those high notes and low notes and all that big technique that you need. I thought she did it fabulously. First of all, she has that very creamy sound, and she's able to carry it up, all the cream on top, and then when she goes down, she transitions very nicely into a gentle chest tone, which goes over the orchestra but never gets that harsh, real chesty sound. She's a terrific technique. She has a trill. It's hard to tell from a HD feed exactly what the trill is. sounded good to me, but you'd have to hear it really live and up close to know what's going on. The opera starts, and Ernani, the main character, has a little scene with his men, and then they change the scene, and on the feed, they showed you how they changed the scene. It took quite a while. And you could watch Angela Meade as she got ready for her big entrance. She had so much self-confidence. I was amazed. I mean, if I were on the Met going to make my HD debut, I'd be a wreck. I guess she knew she had it. And so she was going to show everybody what she had, and she couldn't wait. And she did such a great job. Of course, she has a lot more to do than just sing that one aria. Everything she sang wonderfully. There was a very nice intermission feature that was or excerpts from a movie called The Audition, a movie unfortunately I didn't see. It was about the Met auditions of 2007, where apparently she was either the top prize winner or one of the top prize winners. And it showed her going over her audition aria with her teacher at the Academy of Vocal Arts, Bill Schumann, who's a very famous voice teacher, and how he helped her with a few little things, and you could actually see and hear what she did from his suggestions. Then you saw her working with the conductor to rehearse the Casta Diva, which was going to be her one of her audition arias, and then you got to see her do a little bit of the Casta Diva aria itself. What was so fascinating is before the opera, Joyce DiDonato, who was the sort of the MC, the hostess, the interviewer for this show, compared her to a young Joan Sutherland. During Angela Meade's interviews for the movie, The Audition, she talked about Montserrat Caballé and Maria Callas singing the role of Norma, not mentioning Joan Sutherland at all, and yet Norma was one of Joan Sutherland's signature roles. I thought that was kind of interesting. All in all, I was glad I went only to hear her. I do not ever want to hear this opera again. Special note to all regional companies, never put this on. Unless for some miracle reason some donor gives you a lot of money to hire 4 fabulous singers to do the leads. So I'm going to see Manon in May from the Met, and also I'm going to see Tosca here in Pittsburgh with another Angela Brown. Can't wait. Okay, all, have a good night. See you soon.